keep asking if I'm back. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Hey, you're listening to The Smoking Gun, episode 4, Live Free or Pod Hard. I'm, as ever, joined by Andy and Kahal.
Hello.
Hello.
There we are. And tonight we're going to be talking about The Equalizer, amongst other things.
Or, this morning or this afternoon.
Or this afternoon.
Depending on...
Or it could be yesterday or tomorrow. Or, God forbid, the day after tomorrow.
We should do that.
It's a film podcast. See where I'm going there? Excellent stuff.
Nice.
Excellent. So it's been a long time coming, this one. I think we can all apologise for episode 3.
We'll just move on.
Yeah, we'll just move on from episode 3. So God bless you, all 12 of you who listened to episode 3. Our Gremlins episode. However, this time around we're back on track. We're back to sitting around a table, sipping tea, and having cakes and whatnot. As ever, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen The Equalizer yet, don't blame us. We're going to give the whole game away. And as ever, because I'm in the room, there'll be lots of swearing, so lots of adult words used.
Such as
quince and...
Isn't that the type of fruit?
That maybe. Such as fuck and bollocks. There we go. How did that get over laugh?
It's a good word.
Amazing. Cool. Andy's going to hit us with a synopsis. So, Andy, The Equalizer.
The Equalizer.
What goes down in that film?
So, The Equalizer is directed by Anton Fuqua, who...
Bless you.
You've been waiting to do that all night. Probably best known for directing Training Day with Denzel Washington, earned him an Oscar win, I believe.
Yes.
What, Denzel Washington got an Oscar win?
Yes.
Or Fuqua got
No,
an Oscar win?
Denzel.
Washington. Also directed last year's White House 'em Up, Olympus Has Fallen.
Are we coining that?
Yeah.
TM.
Which was possibly the better of the two.
Ooh, controversial. I like them both.
Yeah.
It does have one of the greatest lines in recent cinema history. Let's play a game of fuck off, you go first.
I like that.
Which is pretty brilliant.
Jared Butler says that,
He
innit?
does.
Oh, wicked. Well, that kind of wins.
So yeah, directed by Anton Fuqua, a adaptation of a television series, I believe, from the 80s, starring Edward Woodward, which I have no...
Sorry, my tea went down the wrong way. Yes, Edward Woodward. Which, if you take all the O's out... Is it the O's or the
Go on,
vowels?
try and say it without all the O's.
Yeah, O. That's it. No, that was it. Is it all the vowels or the...
All the D's.
If you take all the D's out, it's Iwa, Woo-wa.
Yeah.
And it's also Edward Woodward. If you're listening to this in the bath, let off a cheeky little bum guff. And it's the same noise. Edward Woodward.
Starting strong.
As ever.
So, The Equalizer stars Denzel Washington as Robert McCall, a man who essentially works in B&Q. But it turns out he has a shady past.
Shady.
Shady indeed. After seeing a call girl played by Chloe Moretz get beaten up by her Russian pimps, he remembers the promise he made to his wife that he'd never be that man again, and he breaks that promise and goes on a one-man revenge spree against the Russian mob.
A one-man revenge spree for something that doesn't really connect him to anything other than he's seen a wrongdoing.
Indeed. So he goes around and equalises some people, and that's pretty much it, really. That's what you need to
You're
know.
going to call the film The Equalizer. That's pretty much, that's it in a nutshell.
So yeah, what do we think?
Should we go round?
Yeah, I guess so. I think we mentioned it a few times on here as well. It's about trailers, watching the trailer, you go, ooh, that looks good. Yeah, I like that. I guess I wasn't too impressed. I think I was speaking to you about this earlier, Andy, that in my head it had a Taken look about it, and I love Taken. I know you're not so hot on it, but it didn't really do it for me in that regard. Taken was more of like a ride that you took, and you know, a lot of it wasn't believable, but you were happy with the amount of punching and killing that Liam Neeson was doing. With this, I don't know. I don't know whether it was Washington wasn't the right person for the role, because I believe actually Russell Crowe was down for it at the start, which I think might have been better.
Ooh, it depends.
Because Russell Crowe could be like that in
Yeah.
real life anyway. You know, I could see
Yeah.
him beating
Pretty
people
much
up.
just a documentary.
I think two things from that. Like Russell Crowe, like I think he didn't mean it in a harsh way, but I think it's a little bit harsh to kind of look at it and go maybe Denzel Washington wasn't right, purely because he was the best thing in the film. Purely because he was the only good thing in the film. There was the only thing that everything kind of like pointed towards, was just like, fuck me, we got Denzel Washington in this film, like kind of thing. I hope that makes sense. But also, if you akin it to akin it, you like that?
Yeah, nice.
To Taken had all the payoffs.
Yeah.
So Brian Mills gets done wrong equals Brian Mills sticking nails into some dude's kneecaps and electrocuting a motherfucker. There was none of that. There was just none of that. The case in point was the scene where he goes after the at some point the B&Q he's working in gets held up, and you think, oh yeah, you know, shit's gonna get real. He goes off, grabs a lump hammer off the wall. Yes, come on. No, nothing. All you see is him wiping it clean and then putting it back the day after. It's just like, come on now. If you're gonna promise us with a 15, at least kind of push it.
I mean, yeah, there was that. I mean, there was the one of the main set pieces at the start when he goes to and approaches the Russian mob and is trying to pay them for Chloe Moretz's character, Alina, I think her name is, isn't it? And he offers them 9,800 or something.
$9,800.
$9,800, Andy.
Well read off the internet there, Andy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But that little scene was great, and it really ramped it up. It was I thought it was a real slow starter, in fairness. It was building up to it, and he was setting his alarm clock and up before his alarm clock, and he's going through his day, and you're like, okay, all right, we're building slowly. But when it got to that, it really shot up. I mean, some of the killings were, you know, brutal in that. I mean, he corkscrews a guy through the, like, up through his
Yeah,
mouth.
there's a bit where you see it in an X-ray after, or a police crime scene photo after, where he's like literally gouged somebody's eye out with the
Shot
corkscrew.
glass.
Oh yeah,
Is it shot glass?
Yeah, he
Shoves
slams
a
a
shot
Oh, he
glass
shoves
on.
a shot glass
Into someone's eye socket.
again, like yeah. But so, and even that scene where he turns to the door and he goes to leave and he opens and closes it 3 times or 6 times or something like that. So it's like kind of like, has he got OCD? Is he, what's all that about and stuff like that? And just shit like that kind of came into it and was just never explained. It's just like, if you're gonna see someone snap, let's see him snap. Let's don't allude to it and hope that we fill in the gaps.
But I thought it ramped. Sorry, Andy. It ramped up so much with that, and I was like, right, here we go. This is it. Let's keep it along this level. Let's make it just a express train straight through this movie of him just slaughtering people. But it seemed to go up and down. It wasn't sure whether it wanted to go all the way and be slightly the ridiculous side of things. Like with Taken, you got like Luc Besson behind that, who I watched Lucy recently as well, which is again someone kicking ass more or less for most of it. It goes a little bit crazy at the end. But I think with Anton Fuqua, when you've done something like Training Day, which you know we can all appreciate is a great movie, I think he wasn't sure whether he wanted to do something in all out ballsy action, or the story behind it just kind of let it down a bit as well, I think.
It wasn't a mess of a film. It wasn't up there with Sabotage. It was just being like a complete fucking shit house of a film. It just kind of just like no sense whatsoever. But it just felt like everything. It was always shooting at like half pace. It was just like it would never fulfilled on any of its promises. It kind of like all like it was just like, and it was all over within a minutes. Like that whole scene with the Russian gang, like it was just like there was proper square off that whole kind of like this money for this woman, and like he gives the ultimatum. What's he say? Like you can have her for a month. Like she's free for a month or something like that.
But I don't know. Again, it's just like I don't think don't think I was really rooting for him at any point in it so much. And I don't think he was ever in actually any real peril at any stage as well.
Seemed to get shot at least 5 times in that film and healed himself with honey.
Well,
at one point.
we spoke about the honey thing when you came out because it's actually a pretty good scene where I think they found out where he lives. There's actually a really good scene before that where the I've just forgotten his name. The main Russian guy who is sent to kind of clear up this problem of all his corrupt cops and whoever being taken care of.
Teddy. His name
Teddy,
is.
thank you. And I thought that actor was actually Russian, but he's from New Zealand.
He was in Lord of the Rings.
There you go.
Yeah, played Galadriel's boyfriend.
Yeah, he did.
Don't think he had any lines.
Anyway, but where McCall basically hears the car pull outside, opens the door, and the guy's halfway upstairs pretending to be a cop, and he answers these questions quite well. But it's the scene basically where they found the information out about where he lives, and it builds up really well with this. You just see the pot of honey. Well, we didn't know it's honey straight after boiling, and so all of us went, he's gonna throw that in someone's face, and there's gonna be molten honey and thing. But he's actually across the street in the other house, which you could see coming from very early on. The guys are breaking into the house and so on. You know he's not in there, he's in the other one. But he's using it to heal up his wound, a la, I don't know, Rambo or something. I don't think Rambo used honey. He used gunpowder.
I don't think they have much honey in Afghanistan. Oh, I don't know.
I think they could.
Maybe.
But and then there's another scene in the shopping mall towards the end.
Yeah, where he's like heating up
I think it's a
doorknob. Yeah,
a la
home.
Yeah, Kevin McAllister. And I was like, because in that last scene or in that last kind of final set piece, when it's set up so well because you think it's in this kind of B&Q. There's so many different stuff he can set up. I thought it would actually go a little bit more, like some of it is quite good in terms of I think he takes out a guy with he sets up barbed wire and drops the bag and stuff like that. But there was never a scene. These guys are all in there with fully automatic guns, and there's just never a thing where you go
armor and stuff like that. And he's in chinos and a shirt, and it's just like, I don't know. So I think me and Kahal, not slating it, but it was definitely a firm 1 to 1.5 stars for us. Yeah. Whereas I think you had slightly polarizing view.
I think I went in with maybe lower expectations than you guys, and therefore
fair.
Came out thinking actually it was.
Is that a good thing?
Well, I guess I just wasn't expecting.
Sorry, I apologise. There is no right or wrong answer to that.
But you're wrong.
But you wrong.
I wasn't expecting anything of it really, and I didn't think it was brilliant by any means, and it is full of holes, which I'm sure we'll discuss, and sort of silliness. But
I don't know why, when you said that it's full of holes, I instantly went to that's what she said, and it's just like that makes no sense whatsoever, and it's quite disturbing.
Yeah, I think it says more about you. Really.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think it seemed to know what it was doing for the most part, with the kind of. I think it understood its own level of absurdity. It played itself very straight, whereas something like Olympus Has Fallen was pretty comical in times, and it kind of was a bit more wink than this maybe. But no, I think it had some things to enjoy. Like I quite enjoyed the showdown at the end in the warehouse, and
didn't enjoy all the slow-mo used.
Oh, I don't know. It wasn't kind of like American History X levels of slow-mo.
I did enjoy the one henchman's Salvador Dali mustache.
Yes.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
They seem to get a bunch of lads for that. So there's a scene at the end where I'd lost faith in the film about halfway through. And there's a scene at the end, I think you mentioned it, where he kind of barbed wire nooses this guy. And he's just staring a la kind of Jason Voorhees just at the wriggling body, just watching this guy die. It's just the movie couldn't decide whether they wanted to play Denzel Washington really, really dark and brooding, or kind of almost kind of on the verge of a breakdown kind of thing.
That's where I think it would have been.
And it's just and he's
just losing his shit.
Yeah. I just want to see the twitch in his eye or something like that, and him just to kind of lash out, something or him become. There was no. he was just the Equalizer all the way through. There was never a point in the day where he turned into this ultimate badass kind of thing. He was always that badass, you know. And the whole kind of thing showing him with the security guard, and like helping the guy who wanted to become the security guard, and he helped the family out and stuff like that. And it's just like when it flowed together, all right, you know. So it wasn't jarring, but if you kind of like stop there and kind of look back at the story before it, it's just like it just didn't make. It's just like, well, what kind of character are you making out of this guy? I don't know.
I thought the obviously we know the spoilers, so I'll just jump straight to it. The ending. I mean, there's almost like 3 endings to the film, but the ending where he goes to Russia kind of undermines the entire film because he manages to walk to get to Russia somehow. Despite the fact that he'd be the subject of a massive police investigation.
To stop you very briefly, there's 4 endings.
Oh, okay.
There's 4 endings in that film. I will note them in a second.
He gets to Russia and like manages to get into the house.
Because it says 3 days later as well.
It's literally only a couple of days.
Yeah.
Manages to get into the house of like the head of the Russian mafia and hide in his bathroom, and pretty much kills an entire mansion full of Russian men, like mafia guys. So 3 or 4 guys in a warehouse, no problem for him. So why was there ever any tension there, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
it would have been slightly better just 3 days later, and he's just like pelting, like driving fucking just to the mansion, and it just faded to black or something like that. It's just like
that whole bit in Russia. Was done without. Didn't add anything, wasn't it?
I think a couple of us might have mentioned the deleted ending for Die Hard with Vengeance.
Yeah, Die with a Vengeance.
I
don't know why it came to mind, but it just smacked of that. I think it was just because it was like a scene that shouldn't have been
on,
and was in Russia. Like
but there was the scene I was gonna basically to go back even to the start again and. Why is he doing this? So there's a scene in the middle when he's basically the Russians are onto him. He'd just been shot and so on, and he takes a drive out to the country to meet Melissa Leo's character, who's his former head of operations.
Supposed to be former like Secretary of Defence or something like that. She's quite high up, isn't she?
I mean, she gets dropped off in a massive helicopter in her front door, and like I always pitched it at that point. It was just like, oh, you used to be a CIA bag man or something like that,
And her kind of, I guess, husband played by Bill. Where have you been, Pullman? But one thing, and Andy, this is why I wanted to come on to it for you as well, because Andy has some thoughts about that, but I guess it was to go back to what I was saying about it kind of going up a level with all these killings. Just seemed to drop a bit again. Basically, he called around their house for a cup of tea to get some information, and I think the line is, they thought he was dead, she thought he was dead, and that's why he's basically, got himself a new identity and started this new life. God knows how long ago that's been, but I mean, Denzel's in his 50s or something like that, so we're probably talking about 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago or something like that. To kick him off, it takes some prostitute that he just happens to meet in this, cafeteria that he goes to. Surely there was something else this whole other time. Someone, cut him up in traffic, or someone sneezed and he sneezed and someone didn't say, God bless you or something like that to set him off. It just seemed weird that and it all just kind of fell into place then that the guy the security guard, his mother was being, put up by
extorted.
Extorted is exactly the word, Andy.
By
the dirty cops who were on the books of the Russians, and it all seemed to wrap up quite nicely in that. But the scene in the middle, Andy, to go back to that, you had some thoughts about Bill Pullman and that character. Well,
yeah. So Bill Pullman is the husband of Melissa Leo in their little mansion in the wherever Midwest, and I had it in my mind that possibly The Equalizer is a sequel to Independence Day.
Tell us more, Andy.
Well, in my head, he goes to visit Bill Pullman, and I assume that Bill Pullman would be the ex-president of the United States, the same president from Independence Day, and that maybe Denzel is just playing an older Will Smith from Independence Day, dropped his job as a fighter pilot after the events of July the 4th, and became like a CIA or like a Secret Service agent, and then Bill Pullman remarries because obviously, as we know, he loses his wife in Independence
God rest
Day.
her soul.
Well, not his daughter though, and yeah. So I'd like to think that this is just a post-alien invasion film where they just don't at any point mention the fact that the world really ended.
Many years
It would have
ago.
been a Jeff Goldblum cameo would have really sold.
Oh man, that would have been fucking amazing.
But then that's the same with any film, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah. No, excellent thought on that, Andy, as well. That did make me chuckle. When you
Not
said
an awful lot else to back it up.
At which
in
point,
fairness.
when that scene happened, did you?
I'm pretty sure when Bill Pullman came on the screen, I kind of sat up in my seat and looked
Wait a
around.
minute.
Fucking shit.
I love a bit of Bill Pullman. He's good.
Is he good?
Although I will say about this, and I don't know if anyone else noticed this, there's a couple of points in that scene where like Melissa Leo is serving dinner or something like that, and you see Bill Pullman and he's kind of walking down the stairs really slowly, and it looks kind of like, is he going to tip someone off? Are they going to...
That would be something.
It almost looked like he was going to make a phone call at the back and suddenly like Navy SEALs would be coming through the windows or something. Never happens. It almost looks like they cut something from it.
I'd be intrigued to see what they've actually cut from this film. Purely, one would be to see whether or not there was actually more violence than there was. I know I'm sounding like a fucking 15-year-old boy now, going, I wanted to see more headbutts, but really, I wanted to see more headbutts.
I think they've probably used up their quota on that initial scene where Duke gets corkscrewed.
Yeah.
And then the final scene where there are some, I'm sure we'll talk about these in more detail, quite, I suppose, gruesome deaths in some regard.
Yeah, I think
It's just the lack of like remorse, and it's like I wanted him to have blood spattered over his face and to be almost like screaming while he's strangling the guy, kind of,
Little factoid while we're here.
I love when
Talking
Andy
about-
says factoid.
Oh, yes.
Talking about
We're
headbutts,
back.
I know that the BBFC particularly have trouble with headbutts in films, because one of the big things about violence in films they worry about is people copying it, and in particular doing a headbutt. Not obviously is increased likelihood of injury, not just to the person that's receiving it, but also the person that's giving it. So
If you headbutt incorrectly.
yeah, there's lots of films that have headbutts cut out of them, especially younger kids' films.
Matrix is a lot, because there's even bits where you actually see them going in for it and it kind of almost jump cuts and stuff like that. You can see that. There was a headbutt, wasn't there a headbutt in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Probably.
I think so.
I almost had it in my head there that in Independence Day, Will Smith headbutts the alien, but he doesn't. He punches him.
it.
Yeah.
That would have been sweet if he had.
Don't even
Links, more links. Yeah.
He basically, it's like an entire. He punches an exoskeleton. It's like me punching like an elephant in the tusk.
Yeah.
Like punches raw bone and somehow.
You're a pretty big guy, Andy. I would like to take a shot from you.
I'd love to see you take on an elephant. Just straight up, just sock it in the jaw, just to see what would happen.
Give it a
just
go.
goes whoomp.
I give it my best
You
shot.
got pretty big hands. Look at them. They're like the size of bread bins.
You're going on record saying you want to punch an elephant in the face, so just so you're clear on that now.
Hopefully no one from Peter is listening.
Oh well, fingers crossed.
To go back to a couple of other people then in thing, Chloe Moretz or Grace Chloe.
I think
Chloe. Whatever.
I still felt very uncomfortable seeing her play an adult, even though she is now, she's 17. It was still just kind of like, oh man, it's just like, I mean, she drops a C-bomb in Kick-Ass, and that's
Fantastically.
fantastically. Like she's not only the best thing about Kick-Ass, she's the best thing about Kick-Ass. Sorry, she's the second best thing about Kick-Ass because Nick Cage is officially the best thing about Kick-Ass.
True.
I think in Kick-Ass 2, she is the best thing in Kick-Ass 2. Like, have you seen it?
I haven't seen Kick-Ass
Yeah.
2.
Kick-Ass 2 it's kind of alright. That's for another day though. But there's an awesome scene on top of a van where she is just kicking ass and taking names.
I think that's
it's
in the trailer, yeah.
It's just fucking boss. Like, literally none given in that bit. But I thought she did strung out hooker quite well.
I think I was saying like channeling her best Jodie Foster from Taxi Driver.
Yes, I like that. I think like if ever she got fan mail, I think that's probably the best compliment she could probably get.
Channeling, but not necessarily delivering.
But she was in it for the start. What, 25 minutes to the start, maybe?
If
Her whole screen time was probably 25 minutes. Like she wasn't in that film. Like she disappears in that film, and it's only explained at the end that she's gone somewhere.
Well, the funny thing is, so the first night, so essentially, Denzel Washington's character goes to this little cafe every night at like 2 a.m. and brings his book. So he's reading The Old Man and the Sea.
Yep, and his tea bag.
And his tea bag that he kind of meticulously folds up into a little kind of hanky thing and brings with him. So
Little side note on that: you think the guy in the diner, this fucking guy, night after night, he didn't buy anything.
Is he paying for boiled water,
or is he just yeah?
So he clearly comes here quite a bit, sits, reads his book, and he comes across Chloe Moretz's character, and she kind of hits him up on the book, and they have a little kind of chat there. Now, a man of a certain age, as he is, how comfortable are you speaking with a lady of the night like that? I mean, do you just strike up a conversation with someone like that? But the scene where you're saying she goes missing, so I think he sees her, goes into the car, she says she doesn't want to, she gets smacked around a bit, she comes back the next day, she's got bruises, and then the next time he goes in, he talks to the guy behind the counter and goes, oh, where is she? And he's like, she's in the ICU. It's like, who rang up the guy in the restaurant?
Just, you're going to be not selling one slice of cheesecake tonight.
Which he doesn't even pay for. He gives it to her on tab. So that's pretty much where she goes missing. And then it's I don't know, I'm like, really? Is this what sets you off? Someone's knocking around a prostitute that you've had a conversation with. Maybe he's just a very lonely man. Very lonely. Very sad. Even though he seems to get on with everyone at work.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. They don't really... Like, you see a couple of shots of him where he's like, he can't sleep at night, he's just sitting in the dark, or like, there's that scene where he leaves work and you just see him like making a meal for one and then washing up and kind of just sitting at his table. And you go, oh, he's really lonely. But then later on you see him playing softball, having like loads of friends, dancing in work, and everyone's laughing with him. So like, what are we supposed to think? Is he?
Is that a cover?
Yeah,
but you don't really get that. Do you?
That's not at work. That's not him. It's a front that he puts on.
Work was the act kind of thing.
Yeah, and again, that's why I think that's why I couldn't get behind him, because I'm kind of going, well, no, you are this person. Obviously, he wants to restart his life and so on, and he finds it difficult to get away from it. But he's like, you are this person, with what you've done in the past. So it was almost like he was being kind of patronizing to these people in work, just kind of like the guy who's training to be the security guard. I think, he's training him and he's making him like run laps and stuff. And, maybe he was trying to help him as a friend. But also I think he gets some kind of sick pleasure out of it or something.
He's like 2 seconds away from just kind of like making him run, just shooting.
Dance!
There's a bit where like he's constantly timing himself, isn't he? He's like, for everything he does and stuff like that. Is there one bit at the start where he's like on his way home and he times himself? Because the first scene you see of him and his outside of work life, he stops the clock when he gets home. And I'm like, what, is he timing himself on the way home, like stuff like that? And again, never explained. It's just like, for once I actually wanted some fucking exposition in a film. It's just like, just tell me, because I'm clueless as fuck, like, it's just that I have no idea what the hell is
they
going
seem
on.
to bring in that kind of OCD sort of thing, like the closing the door, wrapping the tea bag up in the napkin, kind
putting the book to the just side of the table.
But see, that's where the book to the side of the table and the spoon.
Yeah. Oh, you can get that because.
No.
All my books must be at the side of the table.
But if you notice, he takes down the guy with the book.
That is true.
So like.
Oh, you think he's setting the table in case at any
all
point?
Just in case kind of thing. So like
he's weaponizing his cafe table.
So the spoon was there. So like, if you notice, he rested it down here, so he could just look down, and then it's like those corner mirrors they have in corner shops, so you can see all around and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
so that's good. I didn't
And
catch that.
like the book where, like, again, the most efficient takedown of a henchman with a hardback book where he just like fucks him in the throat with it.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, kind of just punches him in the throat with it, not fucks him in the throat with it. That's, oh god, that's
It's
horrific.
the R-rated version.
But then, like, the rest of it, like the whole timing thing and stuff like that.
Actually, now that you mention that, when he goes,
What?
things being fucked in the throat. When he goes to Melissa Leo and she's explaining to them who these guys are, she tells them that they're military guys, and the two corrupt cops who were helping out the Russian guys were found dead with their balls cut off and shoved down their throats.
throats, like, yeah.
Good way
Classic
to go.
Russian mafia killing, apparently.
Seems like a lot of hassle. Come on, you're there, you're adrenaline pumping. This guy's dead. You go, right, let's do it. I'm gonna cut off this guy's balls. You cut them off, and they're just there in your hand.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, down the throat they go. That's it. But there's gonna be a few seconds when you've a dead man's balls in your hand. So maybe the joke's on them, really.
I'm desperately trying to find it on the internet now. But I think one of those detectives is Robert Wahlberg, which is the
Donnie
and
why did I go Donnie first?
Yeah.
New Kids on the Block fan,
One of
innit?
the Wahlbergs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a third Wahlberg. I didn't know about that.
Interesting.
He's the weakest one.
He
I
is.
like Donnie Wahlberg. I mean, he's great in Band of Brothers.
He is great. Everybody, Band of Brothers is pretty good in general. Where were we?
Can't remember. Either way,
One of the Wahlbergs.
One of the
Wahlbergs is it. Paul Haggis was originally down. Haggis, yeah, I'm pronouncing that right. Was down to originally direct it. He did he screen wrote Quantum of Solace and stuff like that. I
I didn't care for Quantum of Solace.
I don't think many people did.
opening scene, the opening car chase is fucking class. So
Oh, it is actually. Yeah, that is
yeah,
good.
banging way to open the film, and then it just goes severely downhill. Other than the bit at the end where he just tots the guy off and goes, "Cool, there's a can of oil in the back," and they found his body with a litre of oil in it. It's just like, well done, Bond.
I don't know why the car chase for Mission Impossible 2 came into my head there.
Oh, that's bollocks. But I think it's because there's a door. There's some
basically-
hot door-on-door action in it.
There is. Isn't Tom Cruise and Tandy Newton basically dance in
car.
like a Porsche and a Ferrari? Or
It's
something?
not a dance. It's actually it's a sex scene. With
That's what
cars.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
that's
like, it's a Mission Impossible film. So, gone through. I think we've ripped the plot apart. Any other, apart from the main actors and actresses? The Russian guys are all good. I think a good friend of ours, Mr. O'Sullivan, mentioned that the Russian gangster tattoos were all spot on.
Yeah, right on.
However, you didn't see enough of them. When he said that to us, I expected to all the Russian guys just walked around topless.
So yeah, Teddy, the kind of Russian fixer that gets sent over by the head honcho over to Chicago. Is that where it's set? Boston. I think we described as kind of budget Kevin Spacey, very very similar looking to Kevin Spacey, but just kind of
Russian Kevin Spacey.
slightly slimmer.
He could do well, that guy. He could get himself a nice little part in something. I can see him doing
He
well.
was
He'd
pretty
be
good,
a
I
great
thought.
overarching villain in a TV show.
That's a great shout. He
He'd
was
be brilliant.
House of Cards, perhaps.
Hey.
Oh fuck, that'd be amazing.
He could play Spacey's son.
You're ruining
Or a
it.
Russian diplomat.
Russian diplomat. However,
diplomat.
the poor
Diplomat.
bug is from New Zealand. Like, let's not tar him with the you're only going to be a Russian guy.
He has got a Russian surname.
Yeah, Czechoslovakian.
He's also the bad dude in Born Supremacy. He has some pretty ace fight scenes with Damon, Matt Damon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid 1.5 stars. I mean, I can't. In my head, I've got this thing where it's just like it's a mixture of a bit of Man on Fire, which oddly enough, like both
A lot of people were.
A lot of people said like it's like Man on Fire 2. Where it's just like Man on Fire is just a wild film. It's just like Denzel Washington plays it drunk for the best part of it, and also the storyline behind Max Payne 3. On the consoles and stuff like that, I got that kind of vibe from it. You know, just like average dude, just kind of like.
I was saying this to you, Andy, before we came on, about is this the way that Oscar winner Denzel Washington's career is now going, where he's become that Liam Neesoning? And I'm coining that phrase as well.
Well, I think and you know, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think Neesonification.
That also works.
It's probably my preferable.
I'm going to go with, and sorry to cut you both off. Remember what I said about Tom Cruise in the Edge of Tomorrow podcast, where it's just like, we need to not see him for a while? Denzel Washington has a fucking film out every summer.
What was Flight? I suppose was that
Flight.
Well, I mean, you know, okay.
Again, all right, but again, I think like Flight, he was aiming for Oscars, and I don't. Hang on.
It was Oscar season.
It was Oscar
fodder.
Yeah. But then before that, it was Two Guns.
Yeah, there you go.
Two Guns, which is an all right film, but I think it's that him and Mark Wahlberg have great chemistry in that film. It's just like, but that was about it.
But then if you kind of, you can go backwards, and the films almost get better. So what was Book of Eli? That's in this kind of action-y, franchise-y type thing. But as you go back, he's more of a drama. Kind of, you know, Malcolm X and so on and so forth. American Gangster.
The Equalizer. Last year was Two Guns. The year before that, 2012, Flight. Before that, same year, Safe House. Again, should have been amazing. It was a bit tough.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like hey, Ryan Reynolds is hot right now. Let's put him with Denzel Washington and see what happens.
Unstoppable before that in 2012.
I
quite like that film. I really dig that film a lot.
That a runaway train?
Yeah. But it's about a train that's out of control. Yeah. It's essentially Speed 3.
Yeah.
Or Under Siege 2, Dark Territory.
Ooh, nice.
But yeah, so and it's also one of those one-word movies that just are never good. Unstoppable. I was going to say Unbreakable, but that's quite good.
Just reading this now, he hasn't, like, his track record so far. If you go from Training Day to now,
yeah, it's all.
Well, Jesus.
Training Day back though.
Remember the Titans, the Hurricane, the Bone Collector, the Siege. The Siege is good. He got game like. Yeah. Fallen. Now Fallen is your homework, and I'm pointing at the microphone now. You who are listening, Fallen is your homework. Brilliant kind of. If you watched, what's the End of Days?
Mm-hmm.
It's Fallen is what End of Days ended up being, kind of thing. So Fallen is very good, kind of like the devil coming back to the earth and a cop coming after him.
Sorry, you just said Fallen is what End of Days ended up being.
Oh no, sorry. Fallen is what End of Days was trying to be and stuff like. It was trying to be. Does that make sense now?
That's better. Because End of Days is
fucking shocking.
Gabriel Byrne is class as the devil.
Yeah, so you got Fallen, The Preacher's Wife, Courage of the Fire, Devil in the Blue Dress, Virtuosity, which is nonsense. Virtuosity, with tenuous linkage, is Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe in that film.
Also American Gangster.
Also American Gangster, I forgot about that. Pelican Brief, much ado about nothing. Shakespeare, get out of it. And then Malcolm X, like he's like done some absolutely lad stuff. But it's just like, but since Training Day. You could argue, has he kind of gone, I've got an Oscar.
Yeah. Is he just taking the paycheck now, really? Not taking the paycheck, maybe that's a bit
what
heavy.
A paycheck.
But he's normally pretty good in what he's in though, right? He's just not like he's coasting on his own performances. He's just maybe not choosing great.
For the record, he isn't bad in this film.
Oh, not at all.
He's just not given either A, he's not given enough to kind of chew on and like really kind of just go... The way we're talking now, I always kind of think back to John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. So like that bang, utter dross before that and stuff like that, and then bang, Pulp Fiction comes along, and then it's just like holy shit, this motherfucker can do
next
something.
thing you know, he's in Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow's class as well.
Oh, I watched it the other night.
Is it not as good?
Is it not as good? The fact you have to ask yourself that question.
John Woo, is that?
Is it John Woo? I think it is John Woo. Anyway.
I just thought of something else now because you mentioned John Travolta. The Taking of
Pelham 1, 2, 3. Yeah, again, amazing original film with
Robert Shaw. Thank you. As in the original, but this is it. It seems to be like. Because he's one of these guys, much like Tom Cruise, where it's the new Denzel Washington movie. It's
Yeah.
never like an ensemble piece that he's in with like a stellar cast or anything like that. It's his movie and there's other people in it, and whatever it's about, well, you know, whatever. Deja vu. You know, it seems like here's an idea, let's put Denzel Washington.
If you look at
the kid from the Mighty Ducks is in that.
if you look at Denzel Washington, he has this massive relationship with Tony Scott.
Yeah.
Like, so Deja Vu, you just said, is a Tony
Yeah,
Scott
yeah.
film. I was just reading here, like, I didn't
Pelham 1,
realise.
2, 3 was it?
Pelham 1, 2, 3 is that Man of Fire,
Yeah.
Crimson Tide.
Oh, Crimson
Now,
Tide.
I've
Now
got time for Crimson
He is
Tide.
good in that. Because that's Denzel Washington versus Gene Hackman in an act
In a sub.
Yeah.
Unstoppable was Tony Scott as well. It's just like...
Because like where he is now, again, this is his movie. It's all about him. He's in pretty much every single scene. Maybe he needs to be dropped in next to another kind of superstar, as it were, someone on the same level. I'm talking like, you know, Steve McQueen and Paul Newman in The Towering Inferno. That didn't work at all. That was awful. But you know what I mean. Something like that where...
He needs a Heat.
Oh, what a
Can you
great
imagine that?
shout.
Again,
American
let's come back
Gangster.
to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good...
Have I seen that movie more than once or twice?
Do you know what? I've never seen it. That's
It's
why.
a
I
long
thought
ass
it's actually
movie
it's
as
a
well.
good film.
Jay-Z
It
did the
is
soundtrack.
That's
to it,
Ridley
or most of
Scott.
it, like,
Yeah.
it is.
That's
That is
the
fucking
other
class.
Scott, right?
Yeah, Tony Ridley Tony. Which one
American
done?
Gangster. It says here Frank Lucas.
Oh.
Oh no, that's his name. That's his
Yeah,
role.
that is-
I can't read Wikipedia.
There is a
How
scene.
does Wikipedia work?
There's a scene in American Gangster when they're walking down the street. I think Shootable or Judith or whatever.
Yeah, Ridley Scott.
is in it as well. They're walking down the street, and this is what 1960s, 70s, 50s,
70s.
70s. And there's a huge big billboard with an email website on it. You can see it in the background. And I don't think there was the internet back then, so you know. Right, moving on.
So I don't know if it's worth probably just picking out some scenes that
Jumped out at you.
jumped out. One that has just come to mind for some reason. There's kind of near the third act of the film, or yeah, I guess the third act, where the people that mean the most to him, to Denzel Washington's character, have been
His
kind of
co-workers.
kidnapped. His co-workers, yeah, they've been kidnapped. That's sad, isn't it? When you say it like that. Denzel Washington's co-workers are kidnapped, and he's told by Teddy, the Russian fixer bloke, kind of get to here as quickly as possible or we'll start killing them. He takes the bus. And it just occurred to me. Like,
But also
The
that-
number 52. Oh,
Yeah.
it's running late
That whole
again.
scene is fucked though, isn't it? Because he doesn't take the bus. Well, he takes the bus,
A bit of the way.
but he's on the right. But he did like through some kind of call forwarding on a mobile phone. He's on a different bus.
yeah, so they're tracking the wrong. He leaves the phone on the seat.
Yeah.
Now you do that in Cardiff. That phone's
gone.
straight in the pocket of a ute, and
That's in smack
Probably-
converters quicker than you can say.
yeah, exactly.
Can I have some smack?
He's gone to a crack den. This was unexpected. scene.
There is the lead up to that as well. Is he one of the corrupt cops, one of the three who hasn't had their balls shoved down their throat. He goes into hiding. So the Russians are looking for him. He's hiding in his house, and
And when he hears his car alarm go off,
Yeah.
rather than just staying still, pointing a gun at the door, he goes and investigates.
where we find Denzel has found him, and he quite, menacingly, really kind of fucked this guy up, sets up quite an elaborate, well, not elaborate, but the old hose pipe and the exhaust to set up, but he's got it all nicely taped up and everything. That must have taken him at least, 5-10 minutes actually. What's going through his head when he's setting this up? He's going, do you know what I'm going to do? Right, he comes out, I'm going to whack him around the head, and then I'm going to put him in his own car, make him breathe in the stuff until he tells me what he wants. This guy is crazy. This guy's got problems. Am I the only one thinking this?
Also, big problem with that scene, the cop is like banging on the window. He's inside the car, banging on the window for Denzel Washington to open the window or open the door, let him out, so that he doesn't, asphyxiate on carbon monoxide. There should be central lock-in, he should just be able to go click and open the door at any time. I know he's got like one hand.
I think he handcuffed him to the
Yeah,
steering
but he's
wheel.
banging on the window with his other hand, which is clearly free. He should be able to open the door at any point.
I like that guy purely because the amount of times
Oh, what
that
was
he says
saying?
motherfuckers.
Like, fuck you, motherfuckers.
Yeah. He's tried so hard to be Bostonian.
Boston.
All he's done is watch Mark Wahlberg films. Or more importantly, Mark Wahlberg in
The Departed.
The Departed, which is atrocious. But then he leads... So the Frank Masters is the guy's name, I think, or Masters is the guy's name. Leads into some a Russian money laundering, God knows what. But the bit where he takes the gun off the guy,
Yeah,
goes,
that
"Can I
is
look at your gun."
which is
Can I
in the
do-"
trailer, yeah.
which is in the trailer, which is bang on, and then nothing bad happens then, or nothing happens at all. So, not only I know we've mentioned at the end where he goes to Russia, basically just walks through the front door of some like Russian kingpin's house and just takes them all out. He goes into this whole kind of Russian money laundering thing. And just walks away scot-free, like completely fucks these guys up, like, and they get found all kind of handcuffed and chained up and stuff like that, just sitting there. What did any?
He does point a gun at the guy's dick.
Which you don't want to do.
True. You don't want to fuck with that. No way.
I think actually one thing we mentioned when we come out of the scene as well is the lack of police action taken for so many different, there's these brutal murders that he commits where these men are killed in, cruel and unusual ways. But I think what we were saying is, I think it would have been nice to have the cop coming at him from two sides. So the Russian mob are after him, but then the wily cop who's thinks it's him, but he's not quite sure. But maybe, does he slightly respect what he does? But
And then there's the scene at the end where he finally confronts him and he goes to shoot him, but he lowers the gun and lets him get away.
That's it. Or shoots it in
sorry,
the air.
I span out and I was just like, when did that happen?
Yeah, because that would have been good.
Yeah.
It's just the complete lack of police action taken, and I think we mentioned as well where you were saying he fucks the guy in the neck with the book, murders this man, and then cuts the power by shoving a knife in the plug socket. He then returns to that restaurant at the end of the movie and he's on his laptop now. We'll leave that for the end. But
more importantly, so at his own workplace, he's seen by people he works with take down pretty much like a heavily militarized
Group of mercenaries.
what? There's like half a dozen guys. Yeah?
half a dozen guys. Takes out a guy. On a side note, quite epically with a nail gun.
He executes him.
He pretty much executes a guy with a nail gun, and nothing, no comeback.
He manages to get out of the country.
Get out of the country, back into the country, and goes back to his old neighbourhood.
Yeah, no, because that's the thing. So the amount of firearms that went off, the amount of like elaborate traps he had set, the amount of like cops who would have to go through that bit by bit, forensics, the whole place would be shut down, blood spatter everywhere. Surely you'd be questioning maybe some of these people about what happened.
Who did this?
Yeah.
There's a guy up there, like, held up by barbed wire and a bag of cement. Who did that?
Well,
I don't know, just come in and it was like that.
Dunno.
Well, the thing is as well, so Ralphie, who is the security guard who McCall kind of helps get into shape.
Cumbersome
The
security
kind of the
guard.
lovable Latino...
Benny off of Crossroads, basically.
Yeah. He comes back for Denzel, so he's like, you told me you never leave a man behind, or whatever bullshit. And so he's dragging him out. He gets shot in the leg, and then Denzel Washington's like, can you run? And he's like, yeah, just been shot in the leg, but yeah, I can run.
No, he can run. He gets shot in the leg after.
No.
That's where he's hiding in the...
No, he gets shot in the leg
Oh,
first, and then he's
Christ,
kind of
'cause they're
dragging his
following
leg.
the blood, didn't they? Yeah,
And then Denzel Washington, so he's just about to die. Ralphie is kind of up against a wall. Bad guy Russian is pointing the gun at him, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, out of slow-mo, Denzel Washington appears with a nail gun and just like fucks this guy up. And then rather than going over to Ralphie, pretty much ostensibly his best friend based on what we've seen in the film, and going, "Oh mate, you alright? Don't worry, I'll call an ambulance. Here, I know how to cauterise a wound with a doorknob.
Yeah.
I'll get you sorted out." He just turns around and walks into like the darkness. Just leaves him to bleed out, presumably.
Needs to book a flight to Russia, doesn't he? Needs to get on
Yeah.
there quick.
Needs to
Get it
pack.
while it's cheap. 3 days notice as well. That's not gonna.
I don't suppose they're like regular daily flights, are they?
Boston to Moscow.
Boston to Moscow.
Yeah.
Let's look it up on Skyscanner.
Do you know what'd be great? It was just the scene, him sitting in the terminal, just like that, just waiting, just kind of like, oh, Ryanair, it's delayed again.
Just fucking police swarming everywhere.
Might as well get a Toblerone while I'm here. You know?
Yeah, it just leaves him to basically bleed out in this room. Like, he's clearly, this guy has been through more in his life than most people will ever see. He's like saved a guy from terrorists, been shot in the leg. He's probably in a lot of pain, in shock, and quite possibly, I mean, no police have turned up at this point. They've already been in the warehouse for like an hour. He might be there all night, just bleeding onto the floor. So I have to assume that Ralphie dies and that.
Yeah.
So in all fairness, like Denzel Washington cost everyone in that was it masonry barn or whatever it's fucking called.
Masonry.
Yeah, they are not going to be able to work.
They are not going to go back to that shop
Yeah.
because the powers that be will come down. A regional manager's going to turn up the next day and just
Yeah.
go, "What the fuck is this?
It's just absolute shitstorm. Like,
Just consider the paperwork.
Bloody nail gun there, and what?"
I think. Oh, I just remembered as well. The break room. He sets
Oh,
up.
yeah.
He sets up. What's he get?
It's three.
Is it paint cans or?
No, it's 3 kind of gas canisters
Yeah.
that he puts in the microwave.
Microwave. There goes your break room.
Yeah.
Just go eat lunch in the street.
And like, if you're talking about kind of like favorite, I think we've kind of gone through all the kind of the favorite scenes. Like, my one was where he took out the guy in the coffee shop. I think that was class, but it was.
That is cool where he's like, anyone else joining us? And the guy's like, don't know what you're talking
What are you
about.
doing about? Yeah, and he talks about the hands, like those hands I've never seen a day's work and stuff like that. It's just like that was really cool, but it's just like use that throughout the film. Don't just go whoosh into whoosh into one scene. Just use it throughout the film. It's just like I don't know. I think I like it even less now.
This tends to happen. And have you come around to our way of thinking now that we've poo-pooed it?
Would I watch it again, I guess is the question. I would watch it again.
Rainy
Really?
bank holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Mate, there's way too much other stuff that I'd watch again. Like, so right, you got to. So you in all your movies that you've got.
I'm not saying it was my first thing that I watched.
Right, okay, that's okay.
I'm just saying if it was on ITV2.
It's one of those ones. Yes, ITV2. You haven't caught the start of it. You're about a quarter of the way through.
Book of Eli's always on there.
Yeah.
Always.
And you're like, oh yeah, this is the bit where he drills that guy in the back of the head.
Oh, Christ, I forgot all about that. And yeah, just leaves the drill just dripping. That was it. There was so many weird kind of like because he drills the guy in the back of the head, leaves the drill, and then it's just just a shot, not even a close up of just the blood dripping off the drill. And it's just like
just no remorse.
I understand that if you drill someone in the back of the head, there's going to be a lot of blood, but it's also why not show loads of other stuff and just show that?
It is a bit weird because I was looking on the web and I figured maybe it was PG-13 over there, but actually clearly it wasn't because there was loads of swearing and violence in it. But it was an R-rated film, but it was almost like they pulled their punches on an R-rated film when they could have gone all out.
What film do we watch where it was 18 and oh god no
Myself and
Irene went to see The Purge 2.
Oh yeah.
And that's an 18. So we were all I went with Sully in DC and we were just sitting there kind of going, yes, and it's just like, no, nothing happened at all. It's just like you had in my head, setting your stall out going, I'm going to make an 18 rated film, gives you a huge playground to fuck about it. You know, it's just like, you've got so much scope there to do anything. In my head, you go all the way back to RoboCop and go, did they get away with that in RoboCop? Brilliant. I'm going to put it in my movie.
Or, more recently, the Raid 2.
Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, the Raid 2 was an 18, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And then some.
Shit, yes. Yeah, and that gets that. And whereas like, this is a 15, where it's just like, you know, Christ, you can drop the F-bomb in the middle of a 12 or a 12A. So with a 15, you can pretty much have pretty much quite a lot of stuff. Like, yeah, you're only talking like proper gory violence and stuff like that. It's just like massive swing and a miss for me. Like, you know, it should have been done a lot better. I would have. God rest his soul. I would like to see what Tony Scott would have done with that film. I think then that would have been Man on Fire too.
There was a few Tony Scott bits. Like the whole film really is very formulaic. There's the bit where someone's spying on him and they're taking photos, and the screen keeps going into like freeze frame where it's like different angles of him in black and white. And there was a lot of that kind of thing, like lots of skyline shots of the city, and so it had a lot of that kind of DNA in it. It just wasn't. I don't know, it just wasn't. Didn't do it for me. Interesting.
Yeah,
he's come back and just came out of nowhere.
There you go, ladies
And maybe
and
I
gentlemen.
didn't.
You didn't like it.
No, I guess I didn't.
There we go. I think that's quite a nice place to end that. Equalizer is in cinemas now.
Oh,
He's told us.
Oh, hello. What?
we should just talk briefly about what might happen in the future with it. So I
What?
will.
This is gonna be a fucking sequel.
Well, let's just talk about the numbers. So, how much do you think it cost to make?
I reckon 150 million.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, all right.
A third of that.
What? 74? No. 50 million?
Yeah. Oh, well,
It cost 50 million.
55 million to
How
make.
much did fucking Denzel Washington walk away with? £1?
Guess how much it's taken worldwide?
Oh, probably something daft, like 300 million or something
No,
like
that's
that.
also ridiculous.
Oh,
Again,
I
divide that by 3.
Alright, so it's made his money back and then
It's
some.
doubled. It's doubled. So,
Is that
which
classed
is
as a...
that's classed as a hit, I believe. So that means probably the Sequelizer.
Yes.
Oh!
Nice.
Yeah, I've been keeping that one on the boil for a little while.
So
It made 34 million in the States on its opening weekend. So it nearly made its budget back on its opening weekend.
Well, I think
Interesting.
it's a Denzel Washington movie. It's got his name above the title. That alone will sell quite a bit.
Going off numbers as well, IMDb has this as 7.6 out of 10. It's just
It's
like,
high.
what the fuck? Is that... Did the States get a completely different film to the UK? Or...
But it certainly sets it up, doesn't it, for a sequel? Like, he puts his ad on Craigslist. And
Yeah.
it's literally like, do you want help? Question mark? That's it. I imagine lots of people come into him going, yeah, my cat's up a tree,
Yeah,
or
and some
like,
shelves putting up.
yeah, I can you help me make my wedding stationery? And he would just turn up with like a load of power tools and like a grenade, and people would be like, Jesus. And then he'll be like, yeah, that's $200,000, please.
Don't worry, your neighbours are dead.
Yeah.
Got rid of that. They were quite noisy.
They never chopped that bush.
I don't really know how they're gonna. How do you follow it? Because I
Because
figured
usually a sequel would be you would go to Russia.
Well, I figured they tied up. They did that deliberately. They tied up the Russian thing.
So they didn't have to.
Didn't have to follow it up, so they can start anew. But what is it? Just going to be him answering adverts?
I reckon if you take Denzel Washington as the equalizer and put him in the scenario of the film Roadhouse,
Yeah.
so he just goes to a sleepy little village town and has to clean it up from corrupt businessmen.
Be nice. Well, one thing that I thought that a little bit biased here, but the Irish didn't get their comeback. There's a scene when Nicky, Tommy, Jimmy, what's his name? Teddy. First comes into the country.
Nicky, Tommy, Jimmy.
One of them. Teddy comes in, has come in to sort this problem out. He goes with the corrupt cop guy. They reckon it's the Irish straight off the bat who's doing this. That there's some kind of power struggle between the Russians and the Irish, who are also running stuff in Boston, obviously enough. So they go to a construction site where I think the guy's surname is Looney. I went to school with a guy called Looney.
Tell us about the old days.
Yeah, the all and nothing days. But he basically insults the Russians, tells them to fuck off, and then
You Russians are all the same.
yeah. That's it.
Or in the right accent.
That was, I think that was a Bostonian accent you were going.
I think that was more New York.
But Teddy basically bludgeons him with an ashtray
And
And
beats
then,
the
yeah.
utter shit. That's
I
quite
think
brutal, actually.
He ground and pounds him, basically. Bit like Bruce Willis in Sin City with the yellow guy.
Oh yeah, that
Who's,
yellow bastard
it's-
is.
It's Nick
Nick
Stahl.
Stahl.
Nick Stahl.
Yeah, John
Uh,
Connor.
Yeah.
Lest we forget.
Yeah. Legal Guardians of John Connor. And then also the Corrupt Cop just pretty much shoots these other two guys, his henchmen, and then nothing is ever said of this again. Again, 3 homicides in a nothing ever said of it. I want the Irish to rise up.
Maybe that'll be the sequel.
Yeah.
Rise of the Irish.
The Equalizer 2.
Equalize this. On the chatting about the sequel, they are planning a sequel. So February 24th this year it was announced that Sony Pictures are planning a sequel.
February 24th?
Yeah,
That was before it even came out.
So
Blimey.
with the expertly named Richard Wank penning it.
It's wank.
What? It's WANK.
It's
His
Ian.
name is Dick Wank.
It's wank. I'm pretty sure. It's wank. Even though, let's go. Actually, not as much funnier as well.
Yeah, apparently Fuqua has said that he wants to do it if Denzel and audience want it.
Well, the audience have paid the money for it, so...
Yeah, it's a little bit like... I can't get annoyed by that because I love the Transformers films and people will go and see it. Fuck you. People go and see the Transformers films in their droves, so I can't get annoyed by the fact that this is going to be pushed to a sequel via the audience. You never know, it might spout an amazing sequel. It might kind of...
Well, it's actually funny because Denzel Washington's not really a sequel guy,
I
is
don't think
he?
I've ever seen him in a sequel.
He just doesn't do it. He
Should we have
doesn't.
a quick
He doesn't
look? Has
do.
he done a sequel?
He's not a franchise guy. He's not a, trilogy kind of stuff. So I mean, that would be interesting. And I think, to be honest, with you, you could throw any kind of script at that. He just kills people in new and interesting ways. And I guess there's a bit. Maybe he gets a lady friend. Maybe she's in trouble somehow. She owes the Irish
Maybe
money.
she gets taken,
Oh, TAK3N.
which we should talk about also.
We should, yeah. That's it. I was going to do a funny joke about Malcolm X being the 10th film in the Malcolm.
I prefer Malcolm 7.
Malcolm 7 is much better than Malcolm 10.
It really sold out after 8.
And you could have like the Taking the Pelham 1, 2, 3, or it's like, well, the Taking the Pelham 1, 2, 1 was much better. He has not done a sequel.
Interesting.
That
Quite a few
is-
remakes.
No. What?
Yeah.
Well, Fellow
Well,
1, 2, 3.
taking the Pelham 1, 2, 3,
And the Equalizer.
and the Equalizer. It's the
It's
Equalizer was
essentially-
never a film.
Now, from what I understand, the Equalizer TV show was like really kind of like not very fast-paced or interesting
Very
at all.
slow.
Yeah.
Like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. or something.
Even slower than that.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what should we say? 1.5? Was that being too harsh?
I think 2. I think you could
Two?
say 2.
2 out of
Round
5.
it up, innit?
2 out of 5, I reckon. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, 2 out of 5. Cool. Well, should we do a quick roundup of what we've seen already, or should we do a future roundup?
Well, I think it'd be interesting to talk briefly about... So, we talked about the Neesonification factor. So, obviously you've had Neeson, you got Kevin Costner in 3 Days to Kill, which apparently was bloody terrible.
Fucking awful film. Absolutely terrible film.
There's no Field of Dreams in it.
It was no. Put it this way: Draft Day is better than. You've just said the title. What is it called? 3 Days to Kill.
What about The Postman?
The Postman.
Ooh.
My Postman is better.
But you've also got, which we've all watched and all gone, ooh, John Wick, which is coming out at the end of this month.
Yes, I cannot
So
wait.
Keanu Reeves is now in that list of Neesonified actors. It looks like they're doing the same thing, although
It's got to be a piss take. For those of you who haven't seen the trailer, go watch the trailer and then.
Well, you could probably cut the line in, right? You
Oh
could
yeah.
cut the line in here.
I lost everything. That dog was a final gift from my dying wife.
That's an incredible line, though. The dog line.
The dog line is,
and you've got to assume it knows what it's doing.
I'm hoping it's a piss take. From so many times I've been stung on trailers, and it looks incredible from the trailer. Both trailers look fucking awesome. Like properly, kind of. It's got a guy shooting 2 guns at the same time, going through a plate glass window. Sold, 100% sold.
Yeah, I mean, I think we spoke about it when we saw it straight off the bat. I'm down for that, and I think we probably will review it when it comes out. Most definitely. Hopefully, this is us building up. Well, again with Equalizer, I don't know if I built it up too much, but I was like, yeah, that's. But I don't think we hopefully we don't build it up too much, but I'm genuinely looking forward to that. Whether it's a balls out action movie revenge thing, or it is with a tongue-in-cheek bit of piss take in it along with that
what was
kind of
the
violence.
Clive Owen one? The
shoot 'em up.
Shoot 'em up. Again, utter nonsense, but it's like proper bubble gum for your chewing gum for the eyes.
But that's I love
That doesn't make any sense.
But again,
it's a Father Ted quote.
Is it more of a spearmint or a juicy fruit?
He's such a dick.
but with something like Shoot 'em Up, if that is on ITV4,
oh hell yeah,
that's on, and you can dip in and out of it. You can watch those scenes, the baby and Paul Giamatti's the bad guy.
Yes,
like Paul Giamatti's good. But again, I think if Equalizer is on, you're like, oh yeah, okay. Where's the bit at the end when he nail guns the guy?
Yeah, I'll go make a cup of tea.
Yeah, that's it. I'll just flick over. It's not the end of the world. Maybe that's what I wanted. Maybe I wanted something with a bit more, just not humor necessarily, but just make him a little bit more fallible. And it's just that there was no stage where I thought, he's in the shit here. He kind of gets.
But even in now when we're talking about the nichification and stuff like that, so like even just in the trailer for John Wick. Like Keanu Reeves looks like he's getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Like in Taken, Neeson gets cut to ribbons and stuff like that. Gets off the plane in a sling and stuff like that. I think that happens. Washington just walks around. Just gonna go. I got shot twice in this film.
Yeah, the pacing. That's it as well. There's no because Liam Neeson in Taken. He has to go to France, and he's finding out as he goes along. So everything's kind of pacey. Goes here, and then it all ends up where they're selling her at the end, and so on. So it's quite fast paced. With this, he's just kind of slowly building up and killing more and more people as it goes to. He eventually gets to the top, and then very slowly and really, not boringly, kills the top guy. But the scene at the end when...
Really contrived.
Yeah, the dude's in the shower. So he's mentioned, again, as Andy said, he's gone through a small army of Russian henchmen.
Hard piping Russian men.
Without, alerting anyone to this, The guy's in the shower, he's flicking the light on and off. And you think, okay, he's just... What's he got in his hand?
He's holding like a rifle.
He's holding his gun, like the guy's gun, because he goes to reach for the gun, he goes, it's not there.
That's it. And then you're think, okay, well, how's he going to do it? He just shoots him through the glass or something. I don't know. He then leaves. He's flicking on and off. Batman's out of there.
I think we were speaking about this, how funny it would be if he stubbed his toe and was like, fuck.
Yeah. And then, does anyone want to explain how he's killed? Because it's just...
Well, he's pulled out wires that are linked to
the wet floor.
There's a wet floor.
So he's left the tap running.
He's left the tap running. There's water on the floor. There's bare
like
wires.
The wet bandits from Home Alone. Another connection.
And then the guy flicks the switch and electrocutes himself and stuff like that.
It's just not the payoff I want.
But also, it doesn't really matter that he's killed him so like
elaborately,
because he's killed the entire household.
Yeah, it's not like he was like, "Oh, make it look like an accident."
Yeah.
And all his henchmen accidentally fell onto their own weapons.
Yeah, fell onto their own weapons and got him in a perfect headshot or the double tap.
But again, this just leads me down the line that he is actually a maniac. I mean, where do you have... So he's on that plane going to Russia, and it's all this is running through his head. I'll go through the house, kill the guys, I'll get safe. Hopefully he'll be in the shower. And then what I'll do is I'll run the tap.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where he's going to be when he turns up.
Does he just...
Does he could have been...
Here's the shower going, He goes, I'm going to get the electrical wires. I'm going to expose them. I'll run the tap. I'll flick the light on and off. I'll fuck with him a bit. And then just when he thinks I got away, boom, electrocuted. And like, what if he got electrocuted and, managed to... He was like jolted away. He went, am I okay? Oh, I'm a little singed, but I'm perfectly fine. I'll live another day. It's like a Bond villain. He goes, we could just shoot him in the head. And he goes, no. I'll leave him in an elaborately overdone kind of way of killing him and not actually make sure he's dead at the
You
end.
did hear him screaming and you heard the kind of electrical sounds as he's walking down the stairs, though. So I figure he's dead.
Again, would you not have a little chuckle as you're walking downstairs? Go, totally fried that bastard.
Frying tonight.
Yeah.
So 2 out of 5 for that.
Sorry, we weren't talking about it.
We went right back there. It's fine. Have we spoken enough about the Neesification?
Well, it's probably worth talking briefly about Taken 3 as well.
Do you mean TAC 3?
Yeah, I hate that trend in movies. My main thing I want to bring up about Taken 3, I'm not a big Taken fan as it is. My main thing is, it's 2 things. A, watch the trailer, it is The Fugitive, including a scene in a tunnel. B, seek out the poster, the one with a Hollywood sign on it. It doesn't make any sense. We'll try and post this on Twitter or on Facebook. It's basically, Neeson's got his back to us. He's looking out over LA. So the back of the Hollywood sign, the back of it is facing us.
Okay.
The Hollywood sign is a 3. There's no 3 in the Hollywood sign, but that's besides the point.
That's okay.
It's the right way round for the poster, but it's the back of it. So if that was really the 3 symbol on the Hollywood sign, if you were looking at the Hollywood sign as you normally do from the white side, it would be backwards 3.
Maybe. No, actually, I don't even know where I'm going to go with that.
It's ridiculous.
I'm trying to find it now.
Well, you know what? I mean, I've watched it quite a lot, and when I go home, a couple of my friends, Taken is a movie we watch quite a lot. It's you go to the pub, you have a few drinks, you come back, and you stick on Taken, and you have a good laugh at it, and you quote the lines. It's just great. Taken 2, I went to the cinema to see, and it's, driving his daughter around she's driving him around the place, and the bit where she's letting off the grenades so he can hear where she is. Anywho, but I think I almost want it to be like that. The first one is kind of pretty sad. The second one's, this third one just completely off the wall. That's what I want.
I want it to actually turn out like so. For those of you who haven't seen the trailer, go and watch the trailer. There's a massive spoiler in the trailer anyway about what happens in it.
Yeah.
So, Brian Mills' wife is killed.
Famke Janssen.
Famke Janssen. Phoenix from
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey. So, from the film Jean Grey. And Liam Neeson is framed for that and stuff like that. I want it to turn out that he actually the first thing just elaborately
get it.
She's a massive will payout, and he just needed to kind of gain her trust again.
Forrest Whitaker in that film playing once again.
That's all he does.
The
now.
police investigator in the control room on the phone.
Yeah.
What do you mean he got away?
Is he in? Hang on,
he's quite good at that though.
Is he in Taking the Pelham 1, 2, 3? Forrest Whitaker.
I haven't seen that movie enough to know. I'm not sure anyone else has either.
Good thing I've got the internet.
He's in. He does that exact same role to the letter in
The
Last Stand.
Yeah,
you're right.
He's good at it, though. You're right.
But we were trying to think of other actors who are going down this route where former maybe straight laced character based stuff, Oscar nods and so on.
Liam Neeson played Schindler.
Yeah, there you go. Michael Collins, you know, and
Rob
that's
Roy.
there you go. Okay, even that alone, then you can go back to, let's say, Denzel Washington, Malcolm X, The Hurricane, and so on. Now they're in these kind of popcorn action movies. I mean, is that the way the career? Can they go back up the other way after something like this? I mean, is this it now? You have to take one of these, and then you get your straight laced bit.
I don't know. It's just like it's.
I think Liam Neeson's too far gone at this stage.
I think so, yeah. But it's weird. It's just like nobody's taken the Bill Murray route.
Yeah, that's
no one went down the kind of like indie kind of like almost cult hero. He was a cult hero to begin with, and then he did kind of Lost in Translation. Was it Dead Flowers?
Yeah, Broken Flowers.
Broken Flowers. He's done
Royal Tenenbaums,
like all the Wes Anderson
those
movies and stuff like that. Which for anyone who hasn't seen, the Grand Budapest Hotel, it is fucking amazing film. It's such a good film. I recommend that wholeheartedly. Bill Murray completely steals it, but Ray Fiennes is. Have you seen it yet?
Nope.
No. Oh, spot on. Nobody's gone down that route. Nobody's gone down the indie route, and kind of like everyone's kind of gone like, let's just. Granted, the money's there, so like, who are we kidding? Like, if somebody came along and said, "I'm gonna give you 20 million, all you gotta do is dick about with a gun for 4 days," it's just sort of like,
wouldn't have
Jesus,
to pay me.
They'd have to call it off for a day because I'd be too busy pissing everywhere. Their excitement, just cartwheeling down the road. There's a thought, but it's just it's got to the point now where it's just such a it's a little bit like how maybe in the summer and then last summer, like the whole kind of pop gets overdone by comic book movies.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's doing a comic book movie. Now, all these wannabe haggard actors now, so they are. They're like, you know, Kevin Costner, like, you know, he's clearly not washed up in real life, whereas just like he's doing this whole kind of like haggard rundown kind of older father kind of like, you know, life on the edge kind of thing. You know, he's seen some shit. Everyone's doing that because it's just fucking boring. It's just like, at least with John Wick, they're kind of trying to inject some kind of tongue-in-cheek schlock. I hope that's kind of what happens.
The scene in the trailer where obviously they've stolen his car and whatever, and he's in like his basement with a sledgehammer, smashing it up and pulling like all these guns and stuff out. It looks.
Well, it's just a bit. It's just like you don't like when they're trying to explain like that you don't steal John Wick's car.
Yeah.
You just leave him alone. It's something like that. It's just that. But like your favourite line for the John Wick, other than the dog one.
Oh yes, people keep asking if I'm back. I'm thinking I'm back. Just poorly written and not very well delivered either. But
it's going to be one of those ones where it's going to be so bad it's going to be good. However, we're pinning our hopes on that quite high.
I figure maybe too high, because remember how excited we were about Sabotage.
Oh.
Yeah. And actually, Keanu Reeves' the last few, like
47 Ronin was absolutely terrible.
And the man from Taipei, or what?
The man from
I didn't even see that. But
yeah, no.
Yeah. I was trying to.
In my head, I had loads of things that we were going to talk about in this, but I can't remember one of them.
Well, in fairness, I mean, we haven't gone so much off topic, but it is definitely relevant to the, you know, Liam Neesonification.
Neesonification.
Yeah, definitely. So look out for it if you do have any other.
maybe let's make it a hashtag.
Yeah, you know, if you can think of.
I don't know. Social media, yeah.
Think of any other actors who have gone down that route. By all means, let us know, and we could see about delving into that a little bit more as well. I mean, like Mel Gibson doing stuff like Expendables, and you know,
and How I Spent My Summer Vacation, or whichever title it got released.
So like he went from.
Do it.
Who, sorry?
You know, I'd like to see do it.
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Where's Will Smith? That would be so good.
Because he's good in Enemy of the State. Have you seen?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
Gene
sorry. All
Hackman.
right.
I'd love to see Will Smith as like a washed up.
Just completely. Well, he kind of did it in
He was
iRobot.
Well, he's
Is
washed
it
up.
iRobot?
Yeah, and Hancock.
And
Washed up
Hancock.
superhero in Hancock.
Like,
Hancock's
there's
really
like
good,
a proper serious film, but him being a bit older and a bit less Fresh Prince, you know.
But I don't know. They're gonna release. They're gonna do Bad Boys 3. So I know. Anyway, and Michael, like the one film everyone's glad Michael Bay is actually gonna direct. Thank you, Michael Bay, for making all of Miami explode.
Amazing.
Was there any other trailers that kind of what future stuff? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comes out middle of October. What? F you all. Alright, I'm the biggest, oldest kid you'll ever see. But
I mean,
It's horrible.
Yeah.
They look. Don't you think they look
they
terrifying?
look weird, but I'm a sucker for that kind of shit, so I don't care.
I remember watching the original live action movie when I was a kid.
That was.
They do the dance and the.
Yeah, but Casey Jones was in that. Casey Jones was a badass. Like, he had a broken hockey stick as a
Who's
weapon.
Casey? Is Casey Jones this? Because Casey Jones was always the coolest.
Yeah, he had a hockey mask, long hair, a vest, and like a broken hockey stick. Like,
He just had like a golf bag full of just bludgeoning weapons. He had golf clubs and hockey sticks.
There was no talent or special power there. There was just like he hit things really hard. It was the Happy Gilmore of action
Keanu Reeves
films.
would play a pretty good Casey Jones actually.
But Keanu Reeves is too busy now doing not only John Wick, but unfortunately Bill and Ted's 3.
Really?
Is that a goer? Is that a definite?
I think it's. I don't know. From what I read, everyone's saying yes.
I think Alex Winter wants it to be.
Well,
Alex Winter had a fucking gas bill.
I heard a good story from an interview with Keanu Reeves that him and Alex Winter like still go out quite a lot and have meals or whatever. And one night they were out at a burger joint having food, and it was Halloween. And some guy walked past and was like looked at them and went, "Dudes, your Bill and Ted costumes are terrible," and just like walked off.
That is amazing and heartbreaking all at the same time.
I imagine that Alex Winter still wears the little kind of weird crop top.
Probably.
I
can just see him there, one arm up.
It's just Keanu Reeves' orange denim jacket in the first one is just outstanding. It's stunning.
Back before he had like a charisma lobotomy, really, isn't it?
Yeah, back before
Maybe John Wick will be his.
Open him up.
Yes.
I don't think it will.
Citizen Case.
But I always had a soft spot for Bill and Ted because they were actually those guys, whereas like fucking Mike Myers and Dana Carvey and Wayne's World were like 40.
Yeah.
It's like Dana Carvey was 35 playing an 18-year-old. It's just like, come on now. It's just like a bit meh. But in all fairness, Wayne's World was a much funnier film than. Bill and Ted's will always have a soft spot for me because of the soundtrack. The soundtrack was fucking class on both films, and it has a massive like Kiss song at the end.
Throw a dude.
And
cut that out immediately.
No.
Whatever I just did then.
No.
The guy who played Genghis Khan is the guy from Die Hard, who's eating the Crunch Bar.
And he's also in Last Action Hero as well.
Yeah.
What else is he in? I saw a film the other day that he's in.
He's in the start of Godzilla, the original one.
He is.
Because we spoke about this before.
In the Roland Emmerich one. When you say the original one.
Yeah, what, the 1950s? Gosh.
Do you know what we should review? Godzilla. No.
So future trailer roundup kind of bag thing.
Just watch John Wick trailer.
Just watch John Wick trailer.
That's all you need.
And that is it. That's the most unsure that is it as well.
That is it.
That is it.
What I would say is though, if you do go and see The Equalizer, please let us know what you thought about it. On
Hashtag Nissanification. That's too long, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jesus.
possibly. Let us know what you thought of it. We would love to hear about it, because then if we do go see something else and decide we want to review it, we can speak about that next time. What do we have the Facebook and the Twitters and the? Am I putting you on the spot slightly? Since it's been so long.
Twitter is at
_the
the smoking gun. Underscore? Yes, I think there's another underscore at the end.
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? You can find us. And the Facebook is facebook.com/the Smoking Gun Podcast.
If you also have see or watch the John Wick trailer, tell us what you think about that.
We'll put it up on the old.
We'll put it up
pages.
on the things, the internetings. Also, we all went to see Guardians of the Galaxy, and we thought it was amazing. And that's the end.
Yeah, there wasn't much to say about that other than it was class.
It's fucking awesome. I've been Big Rich.
I've been Cahill.
I've been Andy.
You've been beautiful. Good night.